The Indiana Pacers defeated the Oklahoma City Thunder 111 to 110 to take game one of the NBA Finals. And I have to say that I am shocked, to be honest, that the Pacers were able to win this game the way they did. Granted, I shouldn't be shocked since the Pacers have pulled out these gutsy wins several times during the playoffs, but still shocked to say nonetheless that they were able to win this game. And I don't know. I'm starting to believe that this team could be a team of destiny because they continue to pull off these impossible comebacks. And tonight was just another example of it. I'll say this as a neutral fan, it was thrilling to watch this game. Now, if you're an OKC fan, you probably had a heart attack. And if you're still alive, you definitely hate Tyrese Haliburton. He's definitely now public enemy number one in OKC. I'm sure they had to be livid right now because it looked like they were going to win this game, and then suddenly they threw it away. Losing these types of games in the finals always suck. I know this as a Spurs fan. Granted, it's not a heartbreaking loss like what I experienced with the Ray Allen shot, but you definitely don't want to be on the other end of these types of games. It really sucks. But when I look at the game, I would say the biggest thing OKC had going in their favor in this game was that they were forcing a lot of turnovers. They forced 24 turnovers when it came to the Pacers. And normally, if you force a team to turn over the ball that many times, you win the game. That's usually the case. However, they didn't shoot well as a team. They shot only 39.8% from the field, OKC that is, and 36.7 from three. So their overall shooting wasn't good. SGA had a good game. I would say a great game. 38 points, 3 assists, 3 steals, 5 rebounds, 14 of 30 shooting, close to 50%. He was playing a great game for them. Granted, he couldn't come through for them on like their final possession. Well, the possession before they had the final possession, but you know what I'm talking about. That was the only flaw you could see with him tonight, I would say. But the rest of the team was absolute trash outside of Lou Dort. They were just terrible. Like Jalen Williams, for instance, only shot 6 of 19 from the field. That's not going to get it done. And Chet Holmgren, he went back to being Chet. That's my nickname for him. He definitely shit it all over the bed tonight. He had 6 points, 2 of 9 from the field, 6 rebounds, 1 block, 1 turnover. Yeah, that's not going to cut it. So the Pacers, they played great defense on them. You got to give them credit. They shot 47.6% from the field, 46.2 from three. And I would have to say the damning thing about this game is that if you're an OKC fan, that despite OKC forcing a ton of turnovers, the Pacers were still always in this game for the most part. They were always still in striking distance. I felt several times that OKC should have been up by 20, but instead of being up by 20, they were up by like 8 or 10 points. Going into the fourth quarter, it seemed like OKC had taken control of the game. They were up by like 15 at one point. They were up 94 to 79. I felt like once they had the 15-point lead with like 9 minutes left, that's when all hell broke loose. It seemed very similar to when the Knicks choked. So they were up 94 to 79, and then the Pacers go on a 15-4 run, and that changed everything. Once the score came down to 98-94, that was triggered by them like hitting 4 threes in a row. That I'm just looking here at the play-by-play from what I can recall, that Toppin hit a 3, and then Miles Turner hit a 3, and then Toppin hit another 3, and then Miles Turner hit a 3. So within a few minutes, those guys hit like 4 threes on consecutive possessions, and that brought them back into the game where the score was then 98-94. OKC was going back and forth with them during that stretch, but they could never really shut them down. And then the Pacers managed to get some stops. And Yeah, they were fearless, especially in the clutch. That they never gave up when it seemed like they could have lost the game. Like especially when they were down by 8 with like 3 minutes left, they didn't waver, and they went on another run like they have done in these situations. I felt their 3 point shooting was ridiculous, especially when they were down by 9 with like 2 minutes 52 seconds left. Neesmith hits a three, which cuts the lead down to 108 to 102, and then Namehart hits another three, which cuts it down to 108 105, and you kind of knew that they were going to get back into the game. In that situation, there was a point where the lead was like 110 to 109, and the Pacers had possession. I thought it was a gutsy move by Rick Carlisle not to call a timeout. He trusted Tyrese Haliburton, and Haliburton delivered with the game-winning shot to put them up by 111 to 110. I was really impressed by that play. I thought that was a very gutsy move. I thought that was a stupid decision when it was happening in real time. I was thinking, like, what are they thinking? But it worked out. Carlisle took a huge risk. It paid off. Tyrese was clutch. That's one thing I'll give him, that throughout the playoffs, he's never shied away from these moments. And tonight was just another example of that he didn't have a great game at all. He was solid, I would say. 14 points on 6 of 13 shooting. He didn't shoot well from 3, 2 of 7, but he had 10 rebounds, which was really big. He only had 6 assists, 3 turnovers. So it was like a solid game by him, but he wasn't great. But him hitting that shot is a good sign in the sense of him as a great player, I would say, because great players are the ones that can hit these shots even when they have a bad game and they're not shooting well. So you have to respect that despite not having a great game, he was still willing to take the clutchest shot in the game when facing the most pressure you can face, and he didn't shy away from it. So if you're a Pacers fan, you're very happy. When I look at this game, I would say OKC's overall defense has to get better. They were great in one aspect of forcing turnovers, but I felt that they were trying too hard to force turnovers, that they kind of didn't contest shots. I know it's weird to say, but I felt at times they were not good at rotating in time to get up in these guys' faces to contest these threes. So they got to make more of an effort, I would say, to switch better in contesting. Don't try to be super hyper focused on just forcing turnovers. Play all defense, switch better, get into the player's face as the defender when contesting shots. Just better job contesting. I think they can fix that. They are a great defensive team. So they had to do that better. And offensively, everybody outside of SGA and Lou Dort, they have to step up their games. This will be very interesting. Game 2, I feel, is do or die. You cannot lose game 2. If they lose game 2, they're in the same situation that the Knicks were in and that the Cavs are in the previous series, that they both lost home court advantage and they just never could come back from that. OKC has to win game 2. It's a must. I hope they do, because I just want to see a 7-game series, to be honest. I'm neutral. I don't care who wins. So it's a must. It's a must win for OKC. And I think it'll be entertaining. We're going to see what OKC's made of. Will they choke like the Knicks did in game 2? Will they choke like the Cavs did? Well, we're going to find out. I think it'll be very interesting. So that's all I have to say.